Good morning, Biscuit Land. How's it going? Okay, you're through to the Biscuit Box. It's 11 something on a Wednesday morning, and I'm happy to be here. It's just me today. We talk all about creativity, the issues creative people have running their own businesses or wanting to run their own business. We talk about selling work, we talk about marketing and sales, we talk about mindset, we talk about exhibitions, give out about stuff. We talk about lots of stuff on this channel. And we go live, as I said, every Wednesday at 11 o'clock ish. I'm always a little bit late, sorry about that. Running around like a mental banana. Anyway, this morning I wanted to dive into something that I absolutely love talking about. And I haven't talked about this in quite a long time. Last week, I put it out to you guys, ask me stuff, send me a message, and I will leave the link in the comments underneath today's live as well. It's an easy link to communicate to me directly on asking me a question. I'm actually going to do that right now. So if you see a link if you see a link, I'm distracted now because I'm looking for the link. If you see a link, I'm going to do it afterwards actually because I'm going to get distracted with that fiddly bit, which prompts me nicely into what the topic is today. I'm leaving a link in the comments underneath this live stream if you want to ask me a question that you would like me to talk about on these live shows. Or if you'd like to come on this live show and talk about your business or something that is pissing you off or a topic you're really passionate about, ping me. Okay, so I'm going to drop the link to do that in the comments below. Today, I'm going to talk about something that was brought to my attention last week by someone that was watching a live and that hopped on this link and asked me this question. This is what the lady said. Her name is Maggie. So thank you, Maggie, for this question. Okay, she says, "Hi, Tara. I recently put all of my business plans on hold. Boo, but valid reason. And I may stop completely," she said, "because as a sole trader working on my own every day, I realized that there are too many tasks, jobs to be achieved, too many elements to the business that require a team of staff. For example, sales, social media, managing the website, design development, sourcing materials, advertising, marketing, production, posting, packaging, accounts, invoices, and which is really important, etc., because there's probably shitloads more to add to that list. I am just a designer and I cannot afford to pay for help. Surely it is better to be realistic about entering into business from the beginning. I'm a very realistic person. I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this. Thank you, Maggie." And I want to thank you so much, Maggie. I don't know if you're listening live, but I want to thank you for that question. I love this topic. I talk to people every single day about running businesses, right? I've run lots of them, and I want to be completely honest and completely transparent to anybody thinking about running a business or are in the trenches running a business or are trying to build a business or even just start a business. What is it really like? Before I dive in to my experience and my knowledge of what it's like running a business, I'm just going to see who's in with me and I'm just going to say a quick hello. Hey Anna, how's it going? Hey Martina, hey Angie Dixon, hey Karen Hickey, how's it going? Hey Elkie, how are you? Hey Deirdre, how's it going? Peach Vintage and Retro Style, I know that's not your name, but how are you? Hey Kaelfin, how's it going? And Neve, how's it going? There's a few of you guys in this morning, lovely to see you. Okay. So let's dive into this topic. And it's so funny because Anna's on live, Anna's on here as well. And myself and Anna Dorado were talking about this recently. So it's quite interesting that it's been a topic that has been brought up. So what is it really like? So the very first thing I would say to anybody wanting to start a business, to anyone that's in full-time employment, right? That's sick to shit of it, that doesn't want to work their 9 to 5, clock in, clock out. Their soul is being crushed. They hate their reality. And so you're thinking about, well, how can I develop a business around my creative work? I think definitely something has to change if you're miserable in what you do every day, and if you're not feeling fulfilled and you're pretty, it's a negative space that you're surviving in. Something has to change. Is starting your own business the solution for many? Yes, absolutely. For many others, no. Why and where do you sit on this? The first thing I would say to you is, when you work for somebody else, you work a 40-hour week. You clock in, you clock out, and you do your particular job, which could be an admin kind of job, which could be a creative driven job, which could be teaching, which could be whatever it is, like, in IT and whatever it is. But you work 40 hours a week and you get your breaks and you get support perhaps from your colleagues, and you have an environment that you're working in, but you definitely work 40 hours a week. When you work for yourself, you do not work 40 hours a week. You work 80 hours a week to 120 hours a week when you're starting and building a business. I have never met an entrepreneur or someone running their own business that works 40 hours a week. Now, please bear with me on this one at the beginning. That definitely shifts as you grow and you build your revenue and you put processes into your business. That changes, definitely. But when you are starting out, when you have to establish yourself, you have to build a brand, you have to figure out how you're going to brand your creative work. You have to, even as Maggie pointed out, I have to run my website, my social. You have to do the job of probably 4 people. It is impossible to do that in 40 hours a week. So if you want to run a business because you want more time for yourself and less time working, that will come. But for the first X amount of years, not weeks, not months, but years, it will take you to actually get there, for that freedom of time, for that flexibility, and release of having to be the slave to work. That doesn't come initially. I think everybody has to be realistic around making that choice. Am I able for that? Am I passionate about what I do? Is my purpose and my vision and my why so strong that working those hours, that 80-hour week, that 100-hour week, 120-hour week, that is okay, because my drive is so strong, because my focus on what I want to create, the lifestyle I really, really want, is so strong. It doesn't come straight away. And then there's always that challenge of, okay, I'm going to work, I'm not afraid of hard work, but I really want to build a business around my creative work. Then it's knowing what you're going to do with that 80 hours and how you're going to actually structure your week like a working week. It's brilliant having flexibility, being able to drop the kids to school, collect the kids from school, go to the matches if you want, or be able to go to a yoga class in the morning and then work when you come home, and you're not stuck to a timetable driven by somebody else. That's the benefit, being able to stay at home with your kids when they're sick. That's the benefit of working for yourself. You're completely flexible. You're your own boss. So you're not going to get given out to or punished for having all those other stuff and you're trying to juggle. That's the plus, definitely. I mean, there's loads of pluses, but when you do that, you still have to work to make up the work that you've lost. That flexibility has its has its impact on your time, because no matter how flexible you can be and what you really want to do and how you spend your time, you still have to deliver on the things that are getting you closer to that freedom path, that path that will get you closer to that life that you really want, the one 3 years, maybe 5 years down the line, because that's how long it takes to build a good, strong revenue around what you do. Unless you get super, super lucky in, having a viral product, or, sometimes it takes people less time for sure. But for the average business owner, it's hardcore. And I don't want anybody to think that it isn't. Like, it is really challenging. And what I find with creative people, one of the most challenging parts of all of this is the mindset flipping from creative work, flipping over to admin, flipping over to sales marketing, flipping over to, website, to accounts, and then trying to get back into your creative flow. It's all those hats that you wear, that every business person has to wear, all those hats. But because creativity is such a huge part of you and what you do, that's a huge chunk. And we all know that to get into a creative flow and to be immersed in your work takes time. There's a process there. There is nearly that empty space that you have to put around your creative work to enable it to happen. And that is a huge chunk of your time. I think it's important that you identify what that looks like and to schedule that space around your process. And I think it's that shift that's really challenging. Oh, piss, I have to come out of my lovely creative world and go over and do feckin' accounts, like head wreck. And it completely overwhelms you and puts you under savage pressure and makes you hate running your business because of that flip. And I think that being aware of that and structuring your week to actually allow for that flip, that change needs time, whether it's I step away from my studio and then I go for a walk, or I have a coffee, or I do some meditation, or I give myself that break between the flip. That's really important to schedule into your week, into your day. And then I think that makes it much, much easier. I'm going off on tangents. So I'd love to hear from people in with me this morning how you're finding running a business. Is it what you thought it would be like? And are you feeling like packing it all in? Because the reality is, there's only a percentage of people running their own business. And my dad always used to say to me, because I've always ran my own business, and there's been shitloads of tears and pulling my hair out and working till my eyes bled, And I remember saying to my dad, I'm quitting. I'm getting a 9-to-5 job. Like, this is too hard. It's constant. Like, why the hell am I doing this? And I still have conversations like that. Why am I doing this again? And when you see your neighbors going, oh, hi, Johnny, I'm going off, finish work now, and off I go. And I'm like, I'm still working. What the fuck? Like, that's the reality. And my dad, I remember when I was young and I was running my first business, and I was 21 in year 2 of my business, and we were doing really well. It was super hard, but I was, I still loved what I did. And I remember turning around to my dad and I said, fuck, this is too hard, and he said, but Tara, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And that stuck with me. If it was easy, everyone would be running their own business, but they don't, because it's hard. So think about that. Okay, so I want to see who's talking to me. Hey, Liz, how's it going? So Liz says, when you do a day job, you get paid for hours spent on effort. That isn't guaranteed when you work for yourself, and can be disheartening at first. So you need great self-belief that you are doing the right thing. Absolutely spot on, Liz. And I'm currently in the process of working with 20 amazing creative business owners, and we're working through the foundation program. And part of a huge part of what we're doing in there for the last week 2 of 4 weeks is we're working closely on our why. Why are we doing what we're doing? What is the purpose of it? What's the passion behind it? When you get up in the morning, you say, I can't wait to start work. This is what I want to do. This is what makes working at night when the kids are asleep and your partner's watching Netflix or playing a guitar, like in my house, and chilling out. I'm up working because I have a vision. I have passion for what I do. I love what I do. And when you're really clear on that, and when you really are honest with yourself around why you're doing what you're doing, that 80 hours becomes really likable, and it doesn't feel like 80 hours, and you don't even look at it like hours that I have to work. It's not like that. It's a different feeling altogether. And I know lots of you guys work for yourselves and are creating amazing work and feel the same way because you've clicked into that world. And it's just trying to structure it so it's manageable, and that transition of all the different things is actually easy, and you control that, and you have more control over it than you think. And I think it's a dangerous thing to blame the business or to say to yourself, I'm not able for this, I don't want to do this, it's too hard. Well, go back to the passion for what you're doing. Are you truly doing the thing that you have that feeling in the morning that you jump out of bed, that you can't wait to start moving on it, on that piece of work, on that piece of communication out to the world? You know, that has to be completely aligned to you, and that makes it so much easier. Hey Liz, how's it going? Hey Barry Moore, how's it going? Hey Jenny, how are you? Elke says, I found that time management is essential, especially when starting up. Dividing tasks into blocks and working them down works best for me. Yeah, Elke, I work, and I know a lot of you guys know, I always bang on about the Scrum board. And I recently shared the Scrum board to a group that I have been chatting to about, you know, entrepreneurship and building businesses. And it's great to see other people take on board such a simple process of brainstorming your mind, brain dumping all the things onto a column of these are the things I want to do, but going through them and picking out the things that you have to work on today to move forward. Because we have 50 million ideas. We have 50 million tasks that we can do. It's spending the time. It's like that, as I was talking about earlier, it's like that that space around the transition, or that space around your creative work, around that process. I look at that white space, that time that you give yourself around sales and marketing, around the admin stuff, you know, it's that space that you give it to stand alone as itself, but you know exactly why you're doing it and how it actually works, because you sit down and you plan it and you look at it, rather than hopping from one thing to the next with no white space. There's no white space. It's just going boing, 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 boing. And that's what causes the madness in your head, the overwhelm. And then you blame work and you blame everything else, when actually it's how you're processing that list, how you're not giving yourself that white space around each segment of your business to stop and look at it and plan it. That's really important. Hey Trisha, how's it going? Trisha says, I find the having to be all things is hard. A designer, creator, yeah, but then marketer, accountant. Yeah, and that is the challenge. But the reality, Trisha, as well, is that unless you outsource those tasks, the marketing tasks or the accountant tasks, until you are ready to outsource. And I would always say that's the goal, right? You don't want to be doing that stuff all the time, but you have to do it for a period to get to that point where you're ready to outsource. You have enough revenue coming in. 9 times out of 10, you're at a point where you don't have enough revenue coming in, but in order to get to that revenue goal, you cannot do it yourself. And every business has to do this. You get to a point, you're earning a relatively okay wage, but you know where you want to go, but you can't physically or emotionally sustain that growth. So in order to grow, you have to outsource. You have to get someone to look after your accounts. You have to get somebody to take over your social media scheduling, or and I would always suggest this first, look at the tools that are available to you online, because thankfully we live in a world dipped in technology that has developed shitloads of amazing tools that can help you with all these struggles. Everything that you're struggling with right now, there is a tool to help you do that. So look at the tools available to you, even right now, even when you're starting off, invest in those tools rather than investing in, somebody to come in to show you how to, fix your website and put in all the fandangly things. Use a templated website builder to get you going, and use their customer service. People have these problems all the time, and there are huge technology, techie companies that have the solution for you. So never underestimate technology and how it can help you. Hey Yvonne, how's it going? Yvonne says, this is so true. Also, when you are in the creative space doing the thing you love, admin tasks don't necessarily come naturally and then can be neglected. And absolutely, and we tend to push them away, don't we, Yvonne? Oh, vomit, put your head in the sand. I'll stay in my default comfort place of creating, and I'm just going to ignore those bits. But the reality and the importance of highlighting this today is, in order to build a business around your creative work, to enable more of that cocoon of making, you have to have this bit. You have to have the admin, you have to have the sales and marketing, and you have to know your numbers. You need to understand those 3 parts of what it takes to actually make a business around your creative work. Because no matter what you're making or what business you're in, creative or not, those 3 elements have to be there, or else it's not a business. You see, it's a hobby, it's something that you just love to do, and that's okay too. And I'd like to say this as well, I know I touched on this a few weeks ago. If running a business feels, oh my God, like I'm so not there, that's okay. That's okay not to want to have your own business. That's okay. Don't ever feel bad because you're not going, I want a business too and have the creative life and be one of those. It's okay not to do that. You have to be honest with what kind of lifestyle you want, how many hours a week you want to work, the true purpose of what you want to do with your life. Like, what is it? How do you see your future? And I think the honest conversation is really, really important to have with yourself. So Barry says, it's one of the most admirable things a person can do. Absolutely, Barry, I totally agree. And I think, as someone that is so honest, maybe too honest sometimes, outwards and with people I meet, like I would say what I think, the hardest part of true honesty is honesty for yourself. What do I really want? What's really important to me? Because we get caught up in groups or conversations with people or dreams and visions of stuff, and we get influenced by all these things, when really, what is it that you really want? what does that look like? Because unless you know that, unless you can really visualize that, you're probably not living or creating the life that you really want. You might be creating a life that someone else thinks you should create. It's up to you. It's your thing, and create white space around that topic for yourself, and sit down and have a chat and think about it. Like, and whatever you come up with, that's the thing that you're going to build, right? That's the thing that you're going to. If it's getting a 9-to-5 job in some kind of place that gives me that income, and every weekend and every spare minute I'm creating my thing, and that's what I want, that'll do nicely. Thanks very much. That's me. Happy days. Happy feckin' days. Because at the end of the day, it's happiness. It's your happiness that should be at the center of everything that you do. And be honest with yourself, you know. Jenny says, I struggle with that flip so much, especially when I'm stuck into editing a film, which I love. So I'm seriously thinking of dedicating Mondays solely to admin, website stuff, etc., and getting it out of the way at the start of the week so that I can enjoy my creative time. We'll see how that works. I think that's a great idea, Jenny. And I think when you do that, I think it's important to set up structures or processes in your business that you don't get flipped over by somebody else sending you an email or tagging you on something on social media or even phoning you, and set up like an autoresponder on your email to say, you know, by my admin time, or, you know, my response to this email will be on these times, or, you know, you nearly want to structure it so you stay accountable to that. And what I do, and I find this really, really, really beneficial, is when I'm planning my week, I use my calendar, my Scrum board. Then I use my calendar, my Google Calendar, to schedule exactly what I'm doing when. So for you, Jenny, like Monday would be, okay, website stuff from 9 to 11 or 11 to 3. Depends on what time you get into the office and how your workflow works. But you know exactly the topic or the task subject that you're going to be working on. At this time, every Monday, I'm going to do accounts, right? Or computer or website stuff from, you know, 9 to 11. And then always schedule your breaks. Schedule your lunch. Have 1 to 2 or 1 to half 1 or whatever you want to give yourself. Schedule it. Put a color on it. Have it in your calendar. So you know, okay, I'm taking a feckin' break, because what we tend to do is not give that white space either and just hop from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And then we're wondering why we're falling off the chair. God, I haven't even drank anything today. Like, what's wrong with me? Oh yeah, I haven't eaten anything. Oops. You know, schedule in all that stuff. Schedule in your self-care. Put in your yoga class. Put in your walk. Schedule it in, have it in there, non-negotiable. Once it's in, that's what I'm doing. And be strict with yourself, because you've no boss telling you what to do. So you have to be your boss in every part of your week, or else it'll just be feel like that, like, you know. But I love that, Jenny. I think that's really smart. Anna says, it was said to me once, photography is 10% of taking photos, 90% of all other things. Yes, so true. There is a lot of emotional learning too, deadline with difficult clients, getting paid, learning mistakes, learning all the skills you need to manage all the departments. There are also hard months, lack of consistency in income. But yet I prefer doing this for me than for somebody else. I can bring my business wherever I want. The challenges are real, but having the support here and in the factory helps me so much. Great, Anna, thanks. Doing it alone is not possible. I have to, well, obviously, I so agree with you, Anna. And I think, you know, you're right. There's so many emotional things attached to running your business as well. And things that you never even thought were there in the first place when you're thinking about, or you're starting off. You don't know because you've never run a business before, but you learn very, very fast that it's an emotional roller coaster more than anything else. There's feelings of guilt because you're working all the time. And, you know, there's all that stuff, making mistakes, being okay with making mistakes, you know, and learning, and a lot of it's learning. And I have to say, and that's why I set up the factory and the biscuit, Bite the Biscuit in the first place. Having support around your business is so important, whether you dive into biscuit stuff, or you reach out to your Leo offices and dive in there, because there's huge support mentoring wise over there as well, or in your local networking group. Like, there's amazing networking groups everywhere for entrepreneurs, and plug yourself into like-minded people that genuinely want to help you. Because Anna is so right. When you try and do it by yourself, that 80 hours is 80 hours full of imposter syndrome. It's full of I'm quitting all the time. It's full of guesswork. It's full of loneliness, frustration, and we've all been there. The minute you flip into a community of like-minded people that want to build their businesses, that want to get to that 5-year goal or 3-year goal, that want that life, it changes everything. And I cannot emphasize, some people only need it for a certain amount of time to get them over to that way of thinking, and some people need it all the time, because you always come up with challenges. There's always going to be a client or a customer that hurts you, not physically but emotionally. I hate this, I don't want it, I'm not paying you. That happens. That's hard to deal with on your own. And what happens is we vomit it out at the dinner table, and we go whoa, 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 to family and friends who don't get it, because they don't run their businesses and they're not creating. They don't get how that hurts, right? So when you have a support group that gets it, that knows how much that stings, it's so much easier to deal with, so much easier. Hey Karina, how's it going? Jane says, interesting challenges. Agree, breaking things down as well is critical, especially if you're based at home and life is presenting unwanted distractions. That's right. And you know what? I think, Jane, that life will throw shit at us, and it does all the time. And I think that's why it's super important to have your... I'm not going to say vision, because that feels a bit, you have to have this big feckin' vision for what you want. That's just how my narrative is. But that kind of true purpose of what impact you want to have with what you do. And that's what drives us. Money doesn't really drive creative people. That's a generalization for sure. It is a factor that always should be there, because you need it to make work and live, and be able to invest back in what you want to do. But it's not the driver. And I think knowing your driver will help you so much when life hits you with stuff. Knowing that driver, what's your driver? What is the thing that makes you want to push forward with what you do? What is it? Is it money? That's okay. If that's what it is, how bad? Go for it. Revenue driven, the thing, brilliant. You know your driver. What is your driver? Do you know what it is? And that needs a lot of white space. That why, that real honest clarity gets you through anything in my book. It's kind of like when you're running a marathon. No, I haven't. It's on my wish list. But I did start Pilates on Tuesday, and I am finding it really hard to walk, because today's Wednesday. So yesterday I started Pilates, and it was my first time doing Pilates. And I was struggling, like my legs are so not strong, like them wobbly legs. And so I was trying to do the thing, and I was like, oh my God. And the teacher was brilliant. She was like, push through it. You can do it. And it's amazing when you have someone else going, yes, you can do it. Hold it, push through it. Come on, you can do it. Oh my God, the pain went. It was focusing on her and her belief in me that I could do it. Like, even as simple as that, gang. We've all been there. If you're a runner, And, my brother was running and, doing his half marathon, and it's this, yay, go for it, do it. That's what gets you over the end of the line, right? That's how you get to the next, through the pain point, to the finish line, to where you want to go. It's this, you can do it. We're right behind you. Think about it. It's not just sport. That's in business, in life, everything. Unless you have that support, you're fucked. Forget about it. You'll be sitting down crying with a Capri Sun and a big shiny tinfoil thing after 20 minutes. I'm sore. There's no one there to go, get up, come on, you can do it. You're going to sit there sucking your thumb do you know what I mean? You have to have support, gang. It's non-negotiable, really, really, really. Hey, Lisa, how's it going? Bonjour. Hey, Vanessa. Vanessa says, I'm a hopper, completely overwhelmed and underwhelmed in the funk. Try not to hop. Hopping is definitely the killer. It's the killer. It's and I truly have so much faith in the Scrum board. Vanessa, do you know the Scrum board? Just tell me and I'll put the link to the video in here if you don't know what it is. Use the Scrum board and close down all the tabs when you're working on the thing you're working on. Don't have Facebook open. Don't have any, just that thing. If you're doing social media, just have social media. Close your email. That stuff waits. Just focus on one thing that you're doing. But the important thing is, take a break. And this is why the Scrum board is so powerful, because when you do something, when you're finished doing that thing that you're in, you have to get off your chair, take the Post-it and put it to done. Woohoo! You have to release yourself from the task, and the white space then comes around the next task, because you're stopping, you're walking around, you're moving something, and then you sit back down and you go, right, what's the next thing? Right, here we go. Blinkers on, do the fucking thing. So Vanessa, get the Scrum board up and running, girl. Hey, Paddy, how's it going? Hey, Aileen, sorry, I hope I pronounced your name. Yes, sometimes you have to do what practical and sometimes cost effective. That's it, absolutely. Neve says, hey, Terry, how's it going? Neve says, I try to plan my week and it goes great for a while. Then if I flare, oh yes, I'm on my ass. It takes me forever to get back on track. My need to mind myself becomes my greatest procrastination. At times, I always feel like I'm working hard but not smart. And I think for you, Neve, because Neve has a really chronic illness that is, hugely just flattens her completely. I think, just like I was saying earlier, schedule your self-care, that it has to come in. And you're a devil. I know you work so hard and you're doing amazing stuff, Neve. Neve's over in the factory and you're doing amazing stuff. But I also know that it's flooring you as well. So make sure that when you're scheduling your stuff, Neve, it's Monday, Tuesday, I'm going to work like this. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm resting. That's part of your working week. You have to schedule that in, rather than being floored because you've gotten 4 good days and you're going to go like the clappers. Give yourself that rest time, but schedule it, girl. And it's okay to not do anything, to just lie there and go, I'm lush, I have lush pink hair, nah, 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 nah. To me. You know what I mean? That's okay to do that. And I won't say enjoy it, but be okay with time not being the productive one, because when you're on, then you're on and you do stuff, and you so do it, Neve. You're so on when you're on. Look what you're doing. Elkie says, my husband is giving out to me that I'm sorry, I'm roasting. I have to take this cardigan off. Sweaty Betty. On the floor. Elkie says, my husband is giving out to me that I'm sorry Elkie, that I'm having a quick lunch at my desk, but sometimes can't be helped. Trying to go for a walk every day though. Well, I'm your sister there. Now I have my lunch at my desk, but what I suggest that you do, I have my lunch at my desk because I want to read an article or email a friend or do something personally for me while I'm having my lunch at my desk. Do you know what I mean? I don't work while I eat my lunch. And that's like a little rule that I have. So you might try that, Elkie. He's right. Like, and you know, that would be a good blog for your blog actually, because Elkie's work is all around food. So I wonder, could you create a lunch menu for working, the best food to eat at your desk when you're working? There you go. Angie says, oh, hey, Angie says, teachable moments, fetal position, acceptance is the only way I can describe being in business the last couple of years. Glad to be back on the road of growth and learning again and moving forward. I have started dedicating 10 to 2 to myself every day. Structure, writing, hair, social, whatever. It has to be done by them. After then, the kids and family. Otherwise, I am pulled from pillar to post. Wise words, Angie Dixon. The word master. Angie, I love that, and I think like I'm so the same. I have 2 long days, and the rest of my days I finish work at 2 o'clock, but it's in my calendar because after 2 it's kids, it's, you know, going to the matches, doing the practice, the homework, all that, you know, and that's the priority. So when you have given yourself that chunk of time, you have to get super organized, don't you? You have to really know, okay, I'm going to do my yoga class from, I'm just doing this for me. I'm doing my Pilates, excuse me, my Pilates class this morning. And when I come back, I'm going to give myself some white space to structure the rest of my thing. And I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then I finish and I'm done until maybe an hour in the evening. That's what I always do, 1 or 2 hours in the evening time. So I think, you know, you're so right. I'm so happy that you're back as well, Angie. You've been through the mill, but I'm really happy that you're back because you have so many amazing ideas and an amazing skill that's after coming out. So I'm like, whoa, this girl like can write, man. You're seriously good. So I hope, and no doubt you're on that, Angie. Keep going in that direction. It feels great from this side. Hey, Evelyn, how's it going? Hey, Trevor, how are you? Hey, Juliana. Hey, Philly Doyle Finnegan. How's it going? I lived with Philly Doyle Finnegan in Australia. Oh, my God, the crack. Terry says, oh, my God, imposter syndrome, loneliness, dealing with disability too. Sometimes illness gets in the way if a schedule. Again, Terry, you know what? There's so many people that are struggling with health. And it's funny. It's like, the more people I meet through Biscuit Land, the more people share that with me. And a lot of it is, there's a lot of feeling of, not guilt, but like of hiding it. And I think, just like Niamh, who has this illness as well, and that stops the creativity flowing or the productivity flowing. I think there's huge value in sharing the illness and making sure people know that you know that's what's happening with your life, like, you know. And I think it's a really important message to put out there around your work as well, and to be okay with having an illness. It's not your fault and it's not defining who you are. You're creative and you've so much to give. It'll just take you a bit longer than other people because you have to deal with all this other stuff. But it doesn't define who you are as a person, and it shouldn't define your work unless you want it to, or unless it's hugely relevant to your work. But it doesn't define your work. You are your work. And it's okay to be sick. Like, you know, physically or emotionally or mentally or in whatever way, it's okay. It happens to a lot of people. And, you know, sharing it with people is hugely, it's a huge healing thing. And it's finding your group, it's finding that resource of support, Terry, I think would be hugely beneficial. So don't ever feel like you're not enough because you're ill. Far from it. Gemma, say, hey Gemma. Gemma says, guilt was a big one, especially as busiest time is summer when the kids are off, spreading ourselves in all directions, but want them to see that anything is achievable if you really want it. Absolutely. And that's it. You're so right, Gemma. It's the guilt, and you want to do all this stuff, but there's only so much time in the day, and you're only one person. And I think, especially as women, if you've children as well, sometimes we have to be a little selfish. And I think selfish is a word that can be looked down upon. But I think, and I've learned this from my husband, I think women tend to put ourselves at the bottom of the pile all the time, when actually, if we're a little bit selfish, and it's okay to bring ourselves up to the top of the pile, and just like Angie was saying, whatever I want to do for myself on those mornings, whether it's my hair or doing some work on my project or whatever it is, you make sure that it's for you and not for your kids and not for your husband, and fuck the house will be grand. You'll be cleaning that forever, but it's for you. So have you carved you time into your day, not into your month, not into your week, into your day? What does that look like? Is it a cup of coffee? Is it reading a chapter of a book? Is it, what does that look like? Is it a class? Is it going out, sitting on the wall, talking to your neighbors? That's what I do. What is it like? What is that little thing that you're going to do for yourself every single day? And put it, I know this might sound completely nerdy, but schedule it. Put it in. Schedule it. Me time. Feck off, everyone else. It's Tara time. Put it in there. Make it a priority. Hey, Niamh, how's it going? So Terry says, 2 drivers, mental health and money. Yeah, and there are 2 things beginning with M. Well, they're 2 really, really strong ones, aren't they, Terry? And it's looking at, and I think one impacts the other, because there's a feeling of, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to run a business, I'm never going to make money. And when you don't have money, it's really hard to make money, that you're trying to always push forward, and you need money to invest in, creating your thing or buying your raw materials to make the feckin' work. And then you just stay put because, oh my God, we've all been there, and you have to start somewhere, and asking for help is one of the best things that you can do, Terry. So my question to you is, when is the last time you asked somebody to help you with this? Send me an email, Terry. Niamh says, you look great. Have you been working out? I can't walk properly, Niamh girl. Vanessa says, no, I don't, Tara. Thank you so much. Oh, well, I'll put that video thingy in for you, Vanessa. Okay, scrum board session. You know what I might do is a scrum board session, actually. I would love to know about the scrum board. Okay, cool. Scrum board. Okay, cool. Hi, Susan. How's it going? I'm wondering what about contracts. Do you take deposits from people? Oh, okay. So this is a question. Okay. So, Aileen, what kind of work are you in? Contracts, as in doing commission work or client work, or what? Fill us in. Vanessa said, could I get the link to the scrum board? Yeah, I'll do that. Yvonne said, this is such a great advice. Scheduling rest is so important. I tend to feel guilty when I'm not working and then go back to responding to messages. Yeah, because you have to work all the time, and you rest time. Oh my God, I can't rest. I'm running my own business. I have to work 9 million hours and be super stressed and super busy. Because if I'm not saying, I'm really busy, I'm really stressed, I'm not running my business properly. Yes, you have to put in the hours. I am a big believer, and I'm a realist, and I've worked, I won't even tell you the way I used to work, because it's, when I look back going, oh my God, how is that? How do I have a husband? Like, seriously, more to the point, how the hell do I have children? Like, like, oh my God. But there was the guilt. The guilt, I need to make money, I need to make money, I need to prove myself, I need to make sure that I'm running a business properly, I have to do all the things. And I, as a person, me, the person behind the thing, isn't worth the break because I need to be super busy and yeah, no. Flip that, that's bullshit. Put yourself at the top. Because if you're not healthy in here and with your body and with yourself, and if you're not healthy and you haven't worked on that, you're not giving yourself that, then the business will be manic and you're going to be manic, and then your family life is going to be pretty manic. The whole thing won't work as smoothly as it could. I'm not saying it's always going to be zen because you go to Pilates twice a week, but it does help. So I think the important thing is never to feel guilty about breaks or guilty about you time, because it impacts everything. And I've learned that the hard way. Hey Helen, how's it going? Helen says, I'm building a Kickstarter fundraiser. On it, Helen, go for it, girl. Nia says, regarding illness and hiding, so much societal judgment, so you got to choose to do it, but it's so hard. That's why I did my hidden out loud. Terry, talk to me if you ever need. I do understand. Oh, and Terry, please talk to Nia as well, and me too, if you feel that the need. The line is always open, and Niamh is amazing. She probably knows more about that whole thing than I would, but asking for help and being honest about things, but even with yourself, is just so important. Niamh says, wow, Tara, one of my favorite tips. Okay, so Niamh says, one of my favorite topics, Tara, is supporting people with illness and helping them find their tribe and voice. That's it, totally. Terry says, oh my God, thank you, Tara. You're welcome, Terry. I have an incurable degenerative condition. That's the kindest thing ever. Tearing up here. You hit the nail on the head. Thank you. Well, thank you for sharing and turning up and being present, Terry. And you know, there's so many other people in your boat as well. And I think linking with them will be just great for you. So just big hairy hug. By the way, I do shave my armpits. So I'm not going to show you, but I don't have hairy armpits, just to say that. Not that I don't like them, but I always say hairy hug. I just love saying hairy hugs. Anyway, off topic. Sorry, Terry. I won't give you a big sloppy hairy hug, but I am sending you a virtual hug, Terry. And Deirdre Buckley Karen says, thanks so much talking about this today. I am really, really struggling with juggling and then feel guilty about not getting enough done in work or not being present for my kids. They're but busy in my head. P.S. Loving your earrings. Oh, they're dacky, lush, lush, lush. I know they're divine. Yes, the guilt. We'll have to come on and talk about this guilt thing. We'll have to sort this guilt thing out, gang. Thanks, Deirdre, for sharing that. Quilvin says, you have totally tapped into my brain. Where did those kids and husband appear from? I know. And how the hell did I make the child in the first place? I don't remember that bit. Damn it. Hey, Amanda Delaney, how's it going? Gemma Finnell says, schedule in me time, so simple but effective. Yes, I used to schedule everything. I've gotten very gung-go around here. So the takeaway from today's chat is this. Running a business, there's one thing. Running a business is fucking hard. 2, if you want to work 40 hours a week, work for somebody else. 3, it gets easier. 4, find your tribe. Find a group of entrepreneurs that get you, that understand you, that will support you. That will change everything. I see it every single day. It changes everything. Find your tribe in wherever works for you and in whatever medium, offline, online, find it. That should be a priority. Find that group that you can connect with on a personal, emotional level and a professional level, people that are doing the things that you want to do. Plug into that world. It will change you. And the last thing, fuck being guilty, gang. Guilt gets us nowhere. We just need to organize our worlds so that when we're off work, we can switch off. We're allowing that switch off. How you get there, You have to organize when you're on. You have to know why you're doing what you're doing, what you're doing, and when you're doing it. And when the clock, pretend clock, goes off at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 12 o'clock, you're off. You're not working. You're walking, you're being present, and you're being inspired by life, which impacts your work, right? You can't be running social media when your kids are there. Like, I mean, that fuels the guilt, doesn't it? Fuck that. Don't do that, because that's setting up the wrong kind of process and the wrong routine for you. So to mind that. Organize when you're on, and when you're on, you're on. And when you're off, you play and you have white space to think and dream and work on that vision and have fun and go and chat to people. And or if you hate people, then don't. If you're not in the mood, don't go roll around in the grass or something. Like, you know, off time is such an important thing because it'll impact everything on the other side. Jeannie Mac, this is a long one this morning. Sorry, gang. What time is it? Holy crap, an hour, Tara. Shut up, will you? Okay, I'm going to go. I didn't expect to talk this long, but look, it is an important topic. I hope it has helped you guys in some way. Keep creative at the center, and always kindness as well. It has to be at the base of everything that we do. Is let's just be kind to ourselves and kind to each other. That has to be at the center. Okay, gang, I'm going to go. I'll see you next week at 11 o'clock on the Biscuit Box Live. And I'm going to do two things. I'm going to drop a link in the comments if you want to ask me a question, just like Maggie asked this question, which prompted this amazing conversation. Don't be afraid to give yourself a voice. Ask me a question. Send me a message. I'm using the link that I'm putting in the comments. It's really an easy thing to do. And I'm going to share the Scrum board as well with you guys, okay? Okay, have a great week. Keep creative, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.